What is happening, everybody? Today I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do a river rock pattern to get those creative juices flowing. We're also going to be having some fun with some two-part epoxy, adding some color to it, and these are all going to be materials that are going to be completely readily available to you. So without further ado, let's get started. And let's make something cool. All right, you can use any size rocks that you want, but I'm gonna use the river pebbles by Virgo because they're not too big and they're not too small. Like me, just make sure that you rinse them off really well and they come out looking just so beautiful, and they got all these fantastic colors in them. So this video is not about the mold. It's more about the technique. But if you want to learn how to make a mold similar to this, go to How to Make a Curved Concrete Bar Top, link up above. Now, I'm going to show you two different methods of how I do a river rock pattern. The first method is going to be a more rough, pitted travertine look. And we're going to mix the concrete up to a normal, like, peanut butter consistency. The second method, it's going to be a more smooth river rock pattern, and we're going to use the flow control like I normally do to give it the concrete a more fluid consistency. Now, the first method that we're going to use, we're going to place that peanut butter consistency into the mold with our hands. Now, that's going to take a lot more time, so what you could end up doing, if you have a bigger mold than this, you could buy yourself some more time with the set control. This is Rapid Set's retarder, so this is basically water in a bag, this is time in a bag. This will buy you about 15 to 20 more minutes working time. You can do 4 of these to 1 bag of product. Moving on. I'm gonna start by spraying down my mold with a specialized concrete mold release called WD-40. It's cheap, it's fast, it's easy. I'm gonna wipe off my excess. I don't want any puddling, but I don't want to completely remove the WD-40. You can also use beeswax instead of WD-40. Now, we're gonna take our washed river rocks, or river pebbles, and we're going to place them in our desired pattern. For a nice natural look, don't think about it too hard. If you wanted a very specific design and you wanted certain pieces to stay exactly where you place them, dab a little clear silicone, 100% silicone on them, glue them down, then spray it down with WD-40. Now with this rougher method, I'm gonna overdo it just a little bit by piling the rocks on top of each other because I want there to be a deep trench. That's looking good. That's about where I want it. Now let's mix up the Rapid Set mortar mix. Okay. Now we're just gonna take our peanut butter consistency and just gingerly place it in the mold. Buddy Rhodes style. If you don't know who Buddy Rhodes is, he's kind of like the godfather of concrete countertops. I'm not gonna jostle it too much. The more I jostle it, the more I get rid of my pits, and with this style, I don't want to do that. Notice that I'm placing right next to my river rock pattern. Not on it quite yet. Now that I've got both sides filled in, now I'm going to start placing in the middle. Now that I've got the bulk of it filled in, now I want to hit these spots and spaces and fill in my low spots. Now I just want to flatten it out with a trowel. Alright, we're gonna let that cook for, since it's pretty hot today, probably only gonna take about a half hour to 40 minutes. Then we'll flip it over and check it out. This is looking really good. We've got this beautiful pitting going on. Just a great travertine look. And these rocks, we could leave them in here if you wanted to, but I want some trenching going on, so I'm gonna take out some rocks. I'm not gonna take out all of them, just enough to make a little trench. Okay, now before I put a 2-part epoxy over this, I want to show you how to do technique number 2 real quick, alright? So for the second style, we're going to still mix up the mortar mix, but this time we're going to use the flow control, and that will give it a more soupy mix, a more watery mix that will actually prevent the voids that we're actually going for in the second method. Water in a bag, time in a bag. I'm gonna lay the rocks out in a similar pattern, but this time I'm not gonna be as generous, and I'm not gonna pile them on the way I did with the last one. Just gonna a little thinner on these rocks. Let's pour. See, can you see these bubbles popping out here and there? And this is what happens when you don't make sure that your forms or your molds are level before you pour. You'd think I'd learn. Till this day, I still get comments about my mold not being level in the first video. I'm gonna fix this. This is why you keep lots and lots of paint stirrers on hand. That's better. I'll see you in about 45 minutes. All right, time to flip it over. Now, before I take this off, don't freak out. We're not gonna be able to see the rocks yet. Okay, don't freak out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give this a little light grinding. We're gonna expose that aggregate. We're gonna expose those river rocks, and it's gonna look so cool. You ain't gotta tell me how cool I look. So with our method number 2, the smooth look, our rocks, our pebbles they're hiding just below the surface. All we gotta do is expose that aggregate we're gonna take a diamond grinding wheel. Can be any size you want. This one's a 4.5 inch. Also, this one is for dry use, so I don't have to wet the surface if I don't want to. And we're just gonna lightly kiss the surface, keep this wheel as flat to the surface as we can. We don't wanna cock it to the sides. We don't wanna make gouge marks in the surface. Definitely wear some eye protection. Wear a mask. I'm too stupid to wear a mask. I couldn't find one. I didn't want to run to the depot real quick. Make sure that you protect your Michael Builds merch, your shirt, with some really cool overalls or a really cool apron, and just go to town. Doesn't that look so cool? I love the beautiful colors that come out. Now we can seal this any way we want, but I think I'm gonna do a 2-part epoxy and we're gonna have some fun with it. We're gonna play with some colors maybe. All right, we really could just leave these the way they are and put them outside and they'd be just fine, but you know me, and I like to take it just one step further, right? I'm gonna use something that is pretty readily available. This should be available in most depots. Either way, I'll have a link in the description below. And we're not gonna get fancy with this one. This one is just gonna be a straightforward 2-part epoxy clear coat. We're gonna have some more fun with this guy. We're just gonna start by wiping these guys down with some acetone. Now let's just mix some epoxy up real quick. It's a 50-50 ratio. I'm gonna do about 8 ounces. I think that should do us. 4 ounces of part A, 4 ounces of part B. It like really doesn't get any simpler than that. You'll be tempted to stir this by mechanical means, like with a paddle on a drill, but with this particular brand, they really stress stirring this one by hand as to avoid more bubbles. Let's see where that gets us. Again, I just love how this stuff just brings out the different colors in the rocks. You can see our river rock pattern coming along this way. Alright, let's move on to the other one. Now this one we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna use a product called Unicorn Spit. Again, this should be pretty available at like a handful of Home Depots, and if not, like check some craft stores. I'll leave a link down below. I'm just taping the sides off with some painter's tape to contain it a bit. Now, just like with the first one, again, 50-50 mix, but now we're gonna take some of the Unicorn Spit. We're just gonna put a couple drops in it at a time until we get the desired color that we're looking for. This one's called Blue Thunder. There's also one called Sapphire Swift Blue, and this one's got glitter in it. I'm just really scared of glitter because you know what they say about glitter. Just want to go just a little deeper, so I'm gonna do about like 2 more drops. I think that's what I'm looking for. You can go as deep of a blue as you want, and they carry dozens of other colors in this stuff. I mean, it's Unicorn Spit. That's how they spit. We're gonna have to mix up way more. But that's the beauty of this stuff, it's just so easy to mix. 1, 2, 3, 4. you imagine how creative you can get with the colors and two-tone colors? I'm warning you guys though, like seriously, the more I play with this two-part epoxy stuff, the more addicting it's getting. It's, oh my god, don't even look up two-part epoxies on Pinterest. You'll never come up for air. Now, obviously you're already starting to see that I am going to have to do this in 2 parts. After this initial coat cures, I'll take the tape off and then finish the sides up. I'm gonna let that cure overnight, take the tape off, finish the sides, and we'll go from there. Before we recoat the sides, we wanna get rid of this lip here and a couple of boogers on the corners and some boogers over here, and got this nice big bulge from the tape. But these things are easily taken care of with some 220 grit sandpaper, sand it down a little bit, and we're just gonna take a quick router to the side over here. And I know what you're thinking to yourself right about now, and you're thinking, did he pretty much just glue that piece down to the bench? And I would say, that is none of your business. And yes, I did. And that's it. This project was so fun, and it was so easy, and the materials were so easy to get a hold of. This could be whatever you wanted it to be. This could be a bench, this could be a concrete countertop, this could be a cap. This could also be, like, say, a fireplace hearth. But one thing I will say is the 2-part epoxy isn't meant for outdoor use, unfortunately, which kind of sucks. But again, a whole host of projects you could do with these 2 techniques. This could be a huge conversation piece, and I found myself just staring at this and being mesmerized by how cool and the depth that this piece gives you. So I hope you learned something from this. I hope this really feeds into your creative side, and I hope you have fun with this too. And I would love to see pictures of what you guys come up with. In fact, that brings me to my next point. I've started a Instagram hashtag #MichaelBuildsCommunity. I feel very selfish that I'm the only one that gets to see the pictures that you guys send in every day. I want everybody to see. So please, if you have pictures that was inspired by a Michael Builds project, send them into #MichaelBuildsCommunity. I want everybody to see how creative you guys are and how good you guys are. You guys far surpass my abilities. Last week, I asked you guys for a huge favor. I asked you guys to go to Monty McKinnon's channel and subscribe and to tell him Michael Builds sent you. You guys came through with flying colors. Not only did Monty McKinnon reach out to me and say thank you, but he took it one step further. He actually featured a guitar that my niece and I built together on his channel, and there's gonna be a link up above to that video. Please check out that video, hit the like button, and if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to his channel. It really is fantastic. So a very deep personal thank you, not only to you guys for helping me out with that, but thank you to Monty McKinnon so much for reaching out to me and doing that extremely emotional and heartfelt video. It was absolutely phenomenal. Haven't cried like that in years. Don't forget, there's also a link down below for Michael Builds merch. You guys are gonna look so much better in this shirt than me, I promise. I also have a P.O. box set up. I can't wait for you guys to see what we have planned next. So if you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing. I promise you won't regret it. And I will see you guys in the next video. I'm like so curious. This is seriously after only like 5 minutes of talking to you.